it is another day, Halloween decor hunting with me and good old Mr. Skeleton. Today we are back out on the hunt, and I am so excited about today because I know for sure we are gonna see Halloween at Homegoods, y'all. So in the last Halloween hunting video, I left you guys hanging a little bit. I felt bad about that. We were rolling up to Homegoods. We were gonna check them out before the weekend, and they had Halloween. But I also got a phone call I was waiting for, and I couldn't call them back as soon as I walked in the door of Homegoods. So I just took a quick little gander, and I didn't get any visuals because I was on my phone. So I know today, since then, they've probably put out more Halloween. Then we're gonna run just a couple stores down to good old Big Mike's, everybody. Of course, we're gonna go back. We're crawling back to Big Mike's, everybody. I haven't checked on this Big Mike's store in a while. And with Big Mike's right now, it's kind of one of those Halloween mysteries that I love. Because, you know, I love a good Halloween hunt. But Michael's, I feel like every store is putting out something different. Like one store locally has vintage spirits. The other store has the hallowed halls, but doesn't have vintage spirits. The last time I checked this store, they only had the Bound by Magic and the, the Mischief, you know what I'm talking about, Mischief and Magic or whatever. Or I don't even know what it's called. I always forget that one because it just left my brain, I think. So it's been over a week since we checked this Michael's. So I want to see where they're at. Then we're probably going to cruise to the other Homegoods, the Homegoods TJ Maxx Hybrid, the home of the Elder Wasp. We're probably going to go there. And, you know, we're going to have to check the Big Mike's there, too, next door. But this week, I'm wanting to also check Menard'S. My mother-in-law said Menard'S was starting to put out Halloween. So I'm wanting to give them a couple more days to see if they get more out. And then we're going to go check. Also in this video, I want to stop by Kirkland's and see where Kirkland's is at. So we'll check probably at the end of this week. But today, I'm wanting to go to Homegoods. It is a Homegoods Halloween kind of day. I've been seeing all sorts of posts on the Facebook group. The one thing I love about Homegoods and Halloween hunting is every single Homegoods has different offerings. Yes, there's a lot of the same offerings, but you can also see it's different in general. The layout is different. There's a store that gets more dishware than other stores, or like more kitchenware in general than some of the other stores. So I love seeing a good variety, and although a lot of it's similar, it's not. And that's why I love that's why I think Homegoods might be my favorite place to hunt for Halloween. My favorite place for Halloween decor in general. This year so far, Michael's is knocking it out of the park, especially with this Hallowed Halls line, the Vintage Spirits line. They've got some good stuff out this year. So I'm thinking Michael's is killing it. But in general, my favorite place to hunt, like for the thrill of the hunt, is definitely Homegoods. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, all those places. You never know what you're going to find at Homegoods. I love that about it. Where everywhere else, they kind of put out their lines, and what you get is what you get. Which I still love to do hunting at those places too. But places like Homegoods, Burlington, Ross, I love the unexpected. I love that part about the hunt. All right, anyways, we're here at Homegoods. I'm so excited to see the spooky goods and get a good look at the spooky goods. Here we are. We're going in, everybody. All right, we're here at Homegoods. We're going in. Oh my gosh, Mr. Skeleton. I do not think I was ready for all of that happened in there. I was not ready. I wasn't ready for it to be full. Oh my gosh, it is loud. We're Baja blasting, everybody. What is going on? I'm stuck. I'm lost in my sunglasses. We're a disaster, Mr. Skeleton. A pure disaster. Let's take a sip of our beverage. I was thinking I'd go in, see a little bit here and there. And it was almost full-blown Halloween. Not really, but there was a lot already. It was a lot of just, a lot of the knick-knack stuff was out right now. So a lot of the tabletop decor with all the different ghosts doing the most, and the different Halloween animals like Halloween dogs and ghost cats. I don't know what I was looking at. Halloween cows. The Halloween cows are a thing this year, y'all. And what else did I see? Oh, a bunch of bedazzled little tabletop decor pieces, wooden pieces. Like they had this really cute wooden ghosty piece that had little witch hats on them. They had, oh man, what all did we see? They had so much there already. They had this pumpkin bat that was really mystical, magical looking. They had a ghost with a mossy witch hat on. They had the ghosts actually doing the most. I don't think I've seen so many ghosts in my life. They had mummies. They had a ghoulie, like a skeleton ghoulie with a messy bun. They had, what else did they have? Oh my gosh, they had so much in here. And lots of cutesy stuff. But then also some harvest meets Halloween. Like they had this big corn stalk with, was it a ghost in there? I know it had pumpkins, but like a ghost and corn. I've never seen anything quite like it. But yeah, so they had a big old corn stalk Halloween decoration. They had a bunch of the Sesame Street stuff. They're bringing back Sesame Street this year. I'm looking for the Count piece. I saw over on the Facebook group, there's a Count figurine out this year. I am on the hunt for them. We're going to check this other HomeGoods, see if they have it. But they had Elmo, they had Bert and Ernie, they had Cookie Monster, lots of cutesy stuff. Jack-o'-lanterns, the big jack-o'-lantern metal buckets. They had a Jack Skellington metal bucket this year. Jack-o'-lanterns, they had terracotta looking jack-o'-lanterns and then a big terracotta jack-o'-lantern stack thing. They had, oh my gosh, they had the big gates, like, or the little, like the skull with the, you know, not the rope, but the chain kind of looking thing. And then they had another big area that had brooms and these wooden kind of stand up. One of them was a witch and one of them, what was the other one? And they had some wreaths and some, like a skeleton and a really pretty mirror, a Christian Siriano mirror that was this really pretty gothic looking mirror. And what other gothic pieces? They didn't have a whole lot of the dark gothic stuff out yet. They did have some candelabras though. They had a black candelabra with a snake. They had a gold one with a skull and these like little dangly looking beaded looking things. So they did have some gothic pieces in here, but not a whole lot of the skulls and the snakes and the mystical, magical, witchy kind of stuff yet. They did have a big cauldron. My thing is, okay, I was wanting a big cauldron for my witchy theme, and the one at HomeGoods is too small for what I'm looking for, and the one at home, I already got it because I didn't want to miss out on it, but it might be too big. I don't know if I'm going to end up using it as a planter outside, but it might be too big. I don't know yet, but I need something kind of in the middle. But they had a really pretty cauldron there. They also had a little dishware area. They had the witch, like, you know, the witches standing around the cauldron, and it comes in a pitcher, and there was a teapot and spooky mug or teacup or whatever. We see this design every year. They had it fully stocked. They also had some really pretty gothic looking, I don't know if it was in their regular section and they moved it to Halloween just for the season, or if it was meant for Halloween, but it's a beautiful gothic looking line with this kind of 3D floral, and there's a black swan, and it's very gothic, romantic, dark. They also had some black and white striped pumpkins, y'all. Black and white striped pumpkins, and you know all I could think of, I was like, this would look so perfect in my kitchen with my black and white striped canisters. They had some little plates and a lot of ceramic ware, glassware, some Halloween, some witchy, some gothic. It was all kind of mixed in here, and then of course some cutesy because they had great pumpkin in here. So they had a variety of ceramic goods. They also had some magical looking like little wine glasses with like a little magical looking design on it. And I think another wine glass that had a just more of like a Halloween or like haunted looking scenery design on it. So it had some wicker jack-o'-lantern pails in black and orange and woven looking ghosts. They had some Joanna Parker salt and pepper shakers. They had a ghost bowl, like a chip bowl or candy bowl or whatever you want to use it for, that had ghosts wrapped all the way around. They had one that was a black cat bowl. Oh, they also had a black toad with some moss on it. They did have some spooky dish towels. One of them had this kind of skeleton, cemetery kind of look to it. Other ones had more in-your-face Halloween looks to them. One had a black cat with orange. Other ones were like pastel pink with little witch hats. And I think there was a pastel pink one with ghosts. And so they had some pastels in here, and then some black and white, and some in-your-face Halloween. So they did have a variety. I couldn't get to all the towels because they were jammed in there. You could barely pull them out. But I got whatever I could get, and then I figured over the course of time we would see them all, like once we go to other stores. But anyways, I got some visuals of the spooky dish towels. They also had some Halloween wall decor, lots of ghosty pictures, ghosts doing the most. They had ghosts in a haunted house, ghosts in flowers, ghosts. I don't even know what all the ghosts were doing, but they were ghosting. They had a floral one with a spider that was really pretty. And they had a wall decor piece that said boo. They had one that had a witch flying on a broom. They had one that had this cute little scenery with these cute little trick-or-treaters. They had, oh man, they had all sorts of cute little wall decor in here. Lots of ghosts, classic Halloween. They had jack-o'-lantern face looking people, all sorts of things in here. So that's what we saw at HomeGoods, everybody. But we're here at Big Mike's. We're gonna go see what they've put out, anything new and exciting. All right, we're here at Big Mike's. Y'all, look who I found in Big Mike's. And I didn't even have to fight Big Mike himself for it, everybody. If you heard that dream, then you know what I'm talking about. I had a dream that I had to fight a big burly man for a gumball machine. That I don't even know why. It was like, but I didn't have to fight anybody. Nobody was in there. I walked in and, okay, wait, let me find a safe place for this guy. I just wanted to show you guys. Mr. Skeleton, I'm putting the gumball machine between your legs, sir. So you better behave. Anyways, we just left Michael's, or Big Mike's, I mean, and Big Mike. We saw some new spooky goods. Not a whole lot. They were putting some new stuff out. So when I walked in, I saw that they had a bunch of boxes and they were unloading the vintage spirits line, but I didn't really look in that direction because I don't like to get in the way of any employees or anything. So I was kind of like, I'll come back later and whatever, or just take a gander at it here in a second. And I was looking at this witch, I can't remember what it's called. Dang it, but it's the witchy line, you know, the witchy line they're putting out. And they had a few things out, or, you know, quite a good selection out, but they still had a lot of empty spaces on the shelves. But so far it looks beautiful. They had the new witch pictures, the one with the red hair, like the witchy gal with the red hair, and then the other witch. They had two new witchy pictures this year. Some potion bottle look, or little vials, like little potion vials or little vials full of little things. They had a little tabletop decor piece that talked about different plants or herbs, or I don't know, but you know, different. They also had a clock piece, like an old Salem clock piece. They had a black cat, a couple of black cat pieces. One was a metal black cat. They had a black cat lamp. They had a toad piece. It was similar to the one that we saw at HomeGoods, but this one was more of a bronzy color. They had a little, what was the other thing? It was like a little, oh, it was a little telephone. They had a little telephone, like a bronze telephone. They had this cute little witch. She's kind of sitting there. Did she have a cat? I can't remember, but she's really cute. They had a shelf that was in the shape of a cauldron, but had books in, like it looked like fake books inside. They also had some really pretty bottles, like really pretty apothecary looking jars or bottles. They were so pretty. I love the labels on them. I love the amber color of the glass. So pretty. And what else did they have? Oh, they had some little cauldrons in various sizes. I think they had 3 different sizes, 3 different labels. And they had, this whole line was just so pretty. The little shelf that had all these little trinkets on it. They had a big cage. It looked like almost like a bird cage, but I guess it could be any kind of cage. And oh man, what else did they have in this area? They had some really pretty pieces in this area. So far, these lines at Michael's are getting me. Every single line has something I want in it, and pretty much all of them, they're just so well done this year, and like they can cross over into so many different genres too. So they're just little things, little pieces in all of these lines that can cross over into witchy or gothic or just all these different, or oddities or whatever you want it to cross over into. But this witch line is so pretty. There's so many items already that I'm wanting from this line, and I haven't even seen the full thing yet. But it's a really pretty line. And they were also, I think that's it for the witchy line. If there's anything I'm missing, I'll show here. They had some really pretty stuff in this area. I can't wait to see the whole collection. Then they were also putting out the vintage spirits line, like I was just talking about. They were just starting to put it out. And that is how I think I got lucky with this gumball machine. And we had seen the vintage spirits line at the other Michael's in the last Halloween hunting video. We saw a lot of it. The gumball machine was already sold out at that point. Anyways, they did have some things in the vintage spirits line that we hadn't seen. Mainly the tassels. We saw a lot of that line over at the other store the other day, but they didn't have all the tassels out. So I did get a good visual of the tassels. They had the witch tassel, they had the skeleton tassel, and the jack-o'-lantern tassel. I believe those are the three we didn't see at the last store. And I'm wanting to get my hands on all these tassels. So, because I have some plans for them. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, that's what we saw at Big Mike's, y'all. We saw the beginnings of vintage spirits over there. And we saw the beginnings, well, a good amount of the witchy line. And they didn't have many of they were getting a few of their minis out. We saw a full-blown mini situation at Michael's last week, so I didn't get any visuals because they didn't even have it fully stocked yet. So they were still working on some of the floral stuff and the minis. So I thought last time I was there they were getting out floral, but they must have been clearing something out. I don't know, because I didn't see a whole lot of floral over there. But we're going to this other HomeGoods, the HomeGoods TJ Maxx Hybrid, and we're going to cruise over to Michael, or Big Mike's, everybody. So we're going to HomeGoods and Big Mike's round 2, and I cannot wait to see what they have. So I'll see ya when I see ya. All right, we're here at HomeGoods and Big Mike's. Mr. Skeleton, sir, wake up. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween. It feels like Halloween in my soul. It does something. There's something to be said about smelling a pumpkin candle and seeing a little ghost on a swing, or a little jack-o'-lantern on a pedestal smiling at you, or just all the things, all the spooky things. A little ghost martini glass. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm enjoying it. Anyways, we saw a bunch of Halloween at HomeGoods, y'all. So they had an aisle of Halloween out that had all sorts of stuff. Mainly ghosties. They had ghosties on swings. The ghosties on swings are back this year. Ghosts roasting marshmallows. They had ghosts doing the most per usual. And mummies and all sorts of Halloween characters. Everything was going on. I tried to get visuals. Like, I don't know that I got each individual visual of everything, but I did get some panning of different shelves and stuff like that. But they also had this branchy, so the Cracker Barrel branchy witch is all the rage this year, but they're now selling them everywhere and in all different sizes. So they had one there that looked like the branchy witch from Cracker Barrel, but it was smaller. And then they had a wraithy guy with a lantern, but he was kind of in the back. I couldn't get a full visual because I could hardly get anything off the shelves. They were so packed. There was nowhere to put the things. Oh man, a raven piece, like a raven on stacked books. They had some stacked witchy books that said various hocus pocus or something on it. They had, what else did they have in this area? They had a really cool frame set that had all these different little frames with all these little spooky things inside, and the frames had these like intricate kind of Victorian designs on them. And then what was in the frames were all these little spooky things, a bunch of different frames in one big set. And they had some grumpy looking pumpkins, like a stack of pumpkins. They had, man, I can't even wrap my head around everything. I'm not prepared. My brain is not ready, everybody. I'm noticing a lot of pieces this year. They have been hearing our calls, everybody. A lot of things this year are metal, wood, wicker, like woven kind of stuff. They have a lot of pieces like that, metal especially, which I love because that means they're gonna last a long time. Or usually, like, all my metal pieces last a long time. So I love that they're kind of mixing it up when it comes to materials. So it's not just resin and plastic and all that kind of stuff. They also had a whole ceramic aisle, and I was able to get some better visuals on this one. At the last store, the ceramic area is right in the middle of everything, and people were walking by, workers were trying to put stuff away. So I don't even know what the visuals look like because I was trying to move quick. And at this store, it was kind of tucked away where no one was going down this aisle, so I was able to get some visuals. They had the witch plates. We saw the pictures and the teapot over at the other store. They had the plates at this store. They also had some spooky house plates, like a little set of 4, and some skull plates, and a little teapot with a spooky house on it. I think we saw the cups or the mugs over at the other store that kind of go with this teapot. They had some of the gothic pieces that we saw at the last store, but then some newer pieces, like they had a vase and they had a canister, and they had some other pieces that were in this kind of gothic floral ceramic area. And they also had some spooky mugs. They had ones with bats. They had a gray one with black bats, and then a white one with different colored bats, like orange and black and gray. One said "bite me" with this kind of dripping blood around it. They had a couple of different butter trays. One was a pumpkin and one was black with a little skull on top. They had some more canisters, like they had the Great Pumpkin ones and Nightmare Before Christmas. They had these glass coffee cup or little mug looking thing that it was orange with a jack-o'-lantern face on it. They had the ghost martini glasses, and I know there's more coming. Oh, they had Joanna Parker. How could I forget? They had the mummy set. They had the bats, and then they had the vampire ones with the 2 vampires, and they had the ghost ones with the little hearts. I love to see it. They are so cute this year. I love the little bats. They are so cute. I love their little mouths, their little fangs. They're so cute. Okay, what else did we see? Anything else? Oh, we saw some blankets, and I remember I saw some blankets at the last HomeGoods too, so I'll just show them all together because I saw similar ones at this HomeGoods as well. But they had a bunch of different blankets. They're doing a lot of these little ghost sceneries this year, floral looking scenery things on blankets this year. So they had multiple different color schemes in the ghost. They had some pillows at the other HomeGoods. They had a couple of Halloween pillows in there that I forgot to mention. One had a ghost, I think it was sipping coffee or in a bookstore or something. And the other one was a Halloween extravaganza. And they had some candles. They had some pumpkin candles. And that were really pretty, actually, glass pumpkin candles. They had some gothic looking candles with the little frames on top. When you turn them one way, they look not dead, and then you turn them the other way and they look scary. You know what I'm talking about? They had that on the top. And they also had some LED candles and some like just little molded candles. Like one was a cat. And a bunch of spooky hand towels that were so beautifully organized. It soothed my soul. It looked so good. They had all the little gauzy towels, and they had all different prints on them. They had this floral print. They had purple, like a purple, was it witchy or was it a skull? I can't remember, floral. They did have a skull with floral with the white towel, I know for sure. They had Winnie the Pooh. They had Nightmare Before Christmas. They had, those weren't gauzy though, but in the gauzy ones, they also had little ghosties with houses. They had one that had little cats, black cats, or a couple of black cats. One was black cats and was like witch hats and witchy things, and then the other one was black cats just doing the most Halloween things. All sorts of spooky towels that were beautifully organized. The organization was good. It was good. So they had some spooky towels in here. I feel like the selection at HomeGoods though, I know a lot of people say August is the best selection, but I'm going to say it's end of July. So anyways, then we cruised over, we passed the Elder Wasp, and we went to Big Mike's. And Big Mike's did not have a whole lot of new items out. They had, their Vintage Spirits line was still out, but not a whole lot of new stuff. I didn't see the Witchy line or the Hollowed Halls line. The other one's getting the Witchy line out, and this one has full-blown Vintage Spirits out. But none of the other ones have any of the other things, so it's so funny how they're getting things out. But that's good, because then I can see a little bit of everything everywhere. I love it. It keeps us on the hunt, everybody. Anyway, so we saw, though, some really pretty planters and floral and glass containers. They had these beautiful glass. They're like these gothic looking glass containers. And they had various shapes and sizes. They had one in the shape of a coffin, and they had a heart one. They had the trays that were in, like, that had that glass on it. But it was beautiful. And then in here, they also had little critters, like they had a little owl and crow and other little pieces in here. And they also had some planters. They had this gorgeous vase, this black vase with floor, like it was resin, so it wasn't or ceramic like the HomeGoods ones, but similar vibe. And then they also had some floral, just various floral. Oh man, their floral is beautiful this year. They had gray floral, they had black floral, they had dangly, viney looking things, they had roses, they had gray, black, all sorts of spooky floral in here. And some garland and some wreaths. They had some black wreaths, like a couple of different ones, or 3 different ones, I think, of the black wreaths. And everything was just gorgeous. It was beautiful. It all tied together. Man, it's gorgeous. I'm waiting on a sale, everybody. I'm waiting. Hey, everyone. It is another day. Halloween decor hunting with me and good old Mr. Skeleton, everybody. We are back out on the hunt today. And it is officially HomeGoods stalking season, y'all. I can't help it. You do not know what you're gonna find. They put out new stuff every second of the day. They're rolling out a cart with stuff on it. So you never know what kind of spooky goods you're gonna find at HomeGoods. That's the mystery of it. That's the hunt of it all. So guess where we're going this morning, Mr. Skeleton? You already know, sir. We're going back to HomeGoods, everybody. We're going to go visit the Elder Wasp, and then we're going to go to the other HomeGoods. Then we're going to cruise over to Menard'S, see where Menard'S is at, and I think I'm wanting to get home and film a haul today. So I want to do a little double whammy today, do a little hunting, do a little haul. So we're going to be doing that today. So I think that's the plan today, but you never know, Mr. Skeleton. You never know where the spooky wind will blow us, what kind of stores we're going to think about going to. But we're starting off strong at HomeGoods again, y'all. It's a HomeGoods kind of video. And I've been thinking about all the things we saw the other day. There are a couple of things on my list that I'm looking for today. I'm looking for, and I know with the early season is when we see Joanna Parker. So I'm looking for some Joanna Parker out there, which we're looking for every year. I saw some salt and pepper shakers over at this store we're going to the other day. So I'm going to see if they put anything new out. Then I also am on the lookout for the Sesame Street count figure. At the store the other day, we're going to go back to that store. They had Elmo and Cookie Monster, that a lot of them out, but I did not see the count. I'm on the lookout for the count to add to my little, if you remember last year for my boys, I'm doing a Sesame Street Halloween theme in my boys' room and their shared bathroom. And I got the Cookie Monster, the Elmo, and the Oscar statues, but they did not have the count last year. So I'm looking for the count. I'm also hoping they put out some Sesame Street Halloween pillows this year, some little throw pillows that I can put with their little bed sets. Then, of course, we're just looking for anything and everything. In your face Halloween especially, anything for my witchy theme, anything for all year round dark decor. Those kind of things that we're looking for every year, but I haven't seen anything specifically that I'm hunting for yet from those places. But they have a lot of spooky goods. I'm seeing all sorts of spooky goods over on the Facebook group, which if you're not part of the Facebook group, we have a Halloween Forever Facebook group over on Facebook. And I'll link it in the description box for you. But people are posting all sorts of spooky goods at HomeGoods. I am so excited this year. It looks so good. Everything looks so good. Something I would love to add in my In Your Face Halloween kitchen. I bought this big Happy Halloween sign one year from, where was it? HomeGoods. And I saw the one this year at Michael's that's really cute and kind of vintage looking. But I'm looking for some sort of Halloween, Happy Halloween, some sort of sign that lights up, that's larger, that I can put up on my cabinets right above my microwave, like right in the center of my kitchen as a focal point. I'm looking for a light up sign there. But it can't be too tall because it has to fit above my cabinets and there's not a whole lot of space there. So it can't be too tall, but I want it to be wide enough and big enough to where you can notice it. So not like a little sign. That's what I've been looking for. But so far this year, I am loving this year because so far we're seeing a lot of new stuff, like brand spanking new. Haven't seen a lot of things like this in the past kind of stuff, because I feel like over the last several years, probably 3-ish years, things have been very similar, and maybe they swap out a couple of colors, or like, you know, the skeletons doing the most. I feel like this year we're actually seeing different items, different themes. It's refreshing this year to see some of these collections and stores and stuff like that. What was I talking about? I don't even know. I was just running my jaws. Oh, I'm just excited that we're seeing some new spooky goods out what am I saying? Out there this year. That's what I was trying to say. I think I was trying to combine too many words, everybody. Okay, we're here at HomeGoods. There's also Michael's, but I was just there and they said over, I think it's gonna be next week when they finish putting things out, they were saying. So I'm not gonna go in there just to save some time today. I wanna get to 2 HomeGoods. I wanna make sure we're getting out there and seeing some new spooky goods. So we're here at HomeGoods, everybody. We're going in. All right, we're here at HomeGoods and we have a crow greeting us, everybody. Here it comes. What a warm welcome to HomeGoods, everybody. Mr. Skeleton, sir, that was a quick little trip, little in, little out. Not a whole lot of new stuff being put out right now. So we did see some new spooky goods at HomeGoods. Not a whole lot. They put out more stuff, but it was kind of more of the same kind of stuff we just saw. And I didn't see any new Joanna Parker, but they did have some Joanna Parker salt and pepper shakers and the same ones we saw the other day. But I didn't see any other new ceramics at all put out in that area, unless it was a lot of the same stuff. But it was all, everything we had already covered. And then in the Halloween area, they had a couple of new items. They had some Medusa pieces. One of them was just it was a green Medusa bust. And then the other one was a Medusa taking a selfie. And so we saw, and then there was also, I think, a Frankenstein in here. I think he was there the other day though, but I don't know if I got a visual of him. But a Frankenstein head, and there was like a little jack-o'-lantern clown guy. There were a couple of new things in this area. I did see a really cute fall piece that, okay, it used to be skeletons doing the most, then it was ghosties doing the mosties. Now it's everything on swings. The swings doing the most. This was this branchy looking thing with these swings. It had some squirrels or chipmunks or something like that swinging. They had it with all the scarecrows, and the corn with the ghost was still there. And I am debating on whether or not I need this piece, the corn with the ghost. You know what I'm talking about? We saw this the other day. I'll show it here again. But this piece this year might be like, it's one of the most unique pieces I've ever seen for Halloween. Debating on whether or not I absolutely need this piece, because you know I'm a ghoul from Kansas, y'all. And my dad is from Iowa, so I grew up going to Iowa and eating, oh man, nothing beats fresh Iowa corn, y'all. There's something about it. You know it's gonna be good when it's coming from the back of a truck. If the truck just straight up rolled up and let their tailgate down and it's filled with corn, that's when you know it's gonna be the good goods. Like, it's the good, fresh corn goods. Is when they just they load it right in the back of their truck and they just drive it to the side of the road and open it up and sell it from the side of the road. That is the absolute best. Well, anyways, we're now cruising to another HomeGoods because we can't help ourselves, everybody. We're here at HomeGoods 2.0. We're going in. All right, everyone, we have a change of plans. Mr. Skeleton, sir. Where are we going? We're going to the fancy HomeGoods, another HomeGoods. I know. I don't know if anyone else is like this, where you just get hooked on the goods at HomeGoods, and you got to go to the next store and the next store and the next store to see what they got. I don't know if anyone else is that way, but I can't help it. every Halloween season, especially early in the season when they're first putting things out, HomeGoods gets me every time. And I want to go to, like, spend the whole day at HomeGoods, everybody. Have a whole HomeGoods day of a situation. I think what we're going to do is go to this next HomeGoods. Then we're going to go to Menard's on the way home. And then we'll go to Kirkland's. We'll probably go next week. We'll go to Kirkland's. But it might still be in this video. I'm not sure yet. It depends on how things work out. How far I get into editing is pretty much what I mean by that. But at the last HomeGoods, it hooked me. The last HomeGoods hooked me. They had some new things. It wasn't like they had just like a huge display of new things, but the new things they had were really good. They had this mirror, this vanity mirror. I saw this over on the Facebook group, but the one I saw in the Facebook group had a ghost in it. This one had this, it said something like they're watching you or they're right behind you or something like that with this menacing creature in it, but it was a vanity mirror that looked very intricate, and then it had this light up feature inside. It was so cool. It's like a mini version of those ghost mirrors, essentially. And so I know they're putting out a lot of these mirrors right now, so I want to go see if I can find some at this HomeGoods. That's why we're getting out. And over at this HomeGoods, they also had some Joanna Parker. They had this candy dish looking thing, like the open mouth jack-o'-lantern kind of candy dish with the black cat on top. They had a little bat cream pourer thing. It's like, you know, the little where you can put cream for your coffee. So cute. It was like a little bat. And I think that's, they on a cart, they had a couple of things. I saw the cat mug, the black cat mug, and the owl mug, which we've seen in years past. So it was nothing new that we hadn't seen. It was nothing from the new collection. But I snagged the candy bowl and the bat little cream thing, and I took a lap back around, and I came back, and there was nothing. Like, it was gone. All the Joanna Parker pieces, except for a couple of salt and pepper shakers, were gone. So I know these Joanna Parker pieces are hot commodities. I know a lot of us love it. And part of me thinks it's because there's not a huge selection of vintage inspired Halloween pieces out there, or even classic Halloween, orange and black kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of what we see a lot of cutesy, and not that this isn't cutesy, it is cutesy, but I'm talking more like the cutesy ghosts and the cutesy little Frankensteins and the cutesy little, you know, the little cutesy guys, the little cutesy monster looking guys, those little cutesy things. That's a lot. They have a lot of that over the vintage looking stuff or vintage inspired. I'm not saying literal vintage. I mean, like, because finding literal vintage Halloween in my area, I never find it. If I do, it's broken, or they want an arm and a leg for it at an antique, like one of those little antique malls. They want like $300 for a tiny blow mold that's broken. And I'm just, that's even wilder than the prices we're seeing at the actual stores. So yeah, we did see some Joanna Parker. I also saw these really pretty, I wish they were ceramic, they were plastic. It was this big platter. I loved the visuals, or, you know, the design of this whole thing. I loved it. It was the black and orange, like little subtle pops of orange. Really, I loved it. Really pretty. And then I just wish it was ceramic. And what else did they have in here? They had a couple of new things. They had a Scooby-Doo mug that I hadn't seen yet. A Hello Kitty mug. Some canisters with little jack-o'-lanterns on top. And some ceramic ghosts holding pumpkins. And some ceramic ghost kind of dishware looking things. What else did we see? I think that was it in the ceramic area, other than the Joanna Parker stuff that we saw. Then in the decor area, we saw a couple of new things. They had more swinging things, the swings doing the most. What else did they have in here? Some other little cutesy items in here. I didn't see the count. I was looking for the count, didn't see them. But they had some other cutesy things. Lots of ghosts, once again. They had a wooden mummy stand looking piece. They had the black candelabra with the snake, but it had moss on it. We saw it in just the plain black before, but this one had the moss on it. They had some spooky looking houses, a couple of different spooky looking houses, and then like not bedazzled, a glittery spooky house. We saw, there was a picture that had a jack-o'-lantern on it, and this little, it looked like an old school jack-o'-lantern picture, like a framed picture. And just there actually was some new decor in here that we hadn't seen yet. I think I saw some stacked skulls. So I saw some darker pieces in here. Lots of cutesy pieces in here though. I think they're kind of putting that stuff out first, like I mentioned before. They had some larger pieces, like a big metal ghost guy. And they had what am I thinking of? Oh, they had some door or just like hanging cowbells, but they were in the shape of little ghosts. And those were really cute. I almost got them, but then I was thinking about toddlers and those being a total disaster. Wait, do I want to park by this wasp-infested grass? Okay, we will for the sake of Halloween, everybody. We will. And then they had, what else did they have? Oh, they also had some wind chimes. It was like a metal bat with some wind chimes hanging down. And some other outdoor, like patio or porch looking pieces. And then what else did we see in here? Did we see anything else I'm missing? I'll show here, but there was a lot to see there. They also had the pumpkin pet bed back this year. It's like the big wicker pumpkin with the pet bed inside. They also had some skulls, a couple of different skulls with mushrooms coming out of them. We see some of these kind of like this every year, but these ones, I like the color scheme. It was more of this kind of rustic, whimsical, almost like foresty, witchy kind of feels. All right, we're here at the fancy HomeGoods. We're going in. Oh, Mr. Skeleton, it's freaking hot. Sir, 98 degrees. Which means with the humidity, it's probably, let's see. Oh, sir. Sweating. No, that's not accurate. It says feels like 92. It says 99 on my car right now, so that's a lie. That's a whole lie. Listen, I am starving. We need lunch, sir. Lunch. Somebody, anybody. All right, we're leaving the fancy HomeGoods, everybody. And they had a lot of the same kind of stuff to be expected as we've been seeing. And they had all the ghosties, all those things that we've already seen. So I'm not going to do a close-up of each one. You can see in general, it's a lot of the same kind of stuff we've already seen. But they did have a couple of new things that I hadn't seen yet. They had the skeleton that was sitting in front of some gates that lit up. They had the candelabras back this year with the bats. Those gothic candelabras. I've been searching for the black ones for years. And I maybe should have just grabbed those and painted them black. But it is what it is. And then they had this branchy candelabra. It was like a metal branchy candelabra with some little dangly ghosts. And they had some broom candlestick holders I hadn't seen yet. And, oh, they also had some pumpkin candles that smelled so good. They smelled so good. So they had that. Oh, and then I went and took a little gander at one of the carts. And they had this glass. It's like this gothic glass tumbler thing that had, it almost looked like lacy spider webs with little glass spiders on it. It's like a little glass cup. I loved this. And then the straw had a little spider on the straw. So they had that. And they had a couple of new blankets I hadn't seen yet. They had one that had that one print that we saw on the plates at the other store. They had on the blanket. It was $30 for this blanket. Wow. And then they had a couple of new towels that were kind of funny. One of them had these mugs with different faces on them. They were just different mugs with, I think we saw something similar last year, Anthropology. Maybe they have it back this year with the different mugs with different faces. It almost has a vintage vibe to it. And then it had a softer ghosty towel on the front or little hot pad or whatever it was. Then they also had this Halloween hot dog. We had the Halloween hoedown. Now we've got the Halloween hot dog. It was a Halloween hot dog towel with a bunch of spooky hot dogs on it. And this is, I don't know, maybe I should have gotten this for Summerween, y'all. But they had these, my favorite part of the whole towel, they had these little ghosty, little mini, little smokies, you know? The little smokies were little bats. So cute. I don't know, were they pigs in a blanket? I can't remember, but they were so cute. Anyway, I never thought I would like a Halloween hot dog towel, but, oh God, can I go in here? But here we are, everybody. Here we are. So anyways, that's what we saw at the fancy home. Oh, and they did have some Joanna Parker. They had the Ghost Salt and Pepper Shakers, which we hadn't seen yet. So every store is a little bit of something different. I'm glad we checked. And next up, Mr. Skeleton, is Menard'S, sir. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention, of course, when I walked into the fancy HomeGoods, there he was in all of his glory. A huge headless horseman on his horse, the whole thing, a jack-o'-lantern in his hand. It was a big headless horseman animatronic. He was I think they wanted $400 for him. Whoa. But there he was right there. I almost forgot to mention him. How could I forget? But I think that's all we saw at the fancy HomeGoods. But now we're headed to Menard'S. Wait, am I on the wrong street to go to Menard'S? Where am I at? Do we know? I think I'm on the right street. We're headed now to Menard'S to go check out the spooky goods at Menard'S. Here we go. All right, everyone, we're here at Menard'S. We're going in. All right, Mr. Skeleton, we just left Menard'S, and Menard'S had the spooky good, not all the spooky goods, but they were just starting, it looked like, to get out their spooky goods. They had their big items out. So they had these big inflatable guys, like this big stack of ghosts. It was a big inflatable and a huge stack of pumpkins. And they also had an inflatable Jack and an inflatable Minion. And they had some animatronics. They had the big deer guy back. And then they had this big Grim Reaper looking dude. It was turned down super low, so I couldn't quite hear what he was saying, but he's a big Grim Reaper guy. Then they also had a big skeleton that's very similar to the skeleton I got last year from Lowe's. They had a big groundbreaking skeleton with these eyes that move around. They had this, a jack-o'-lantern guy. There was like a little jack-o'-lantern guy with a lantern. And is that all they had? But yeah, we did see some Halloween at Menard's, so we'll be checking back. I cannot wait to see their little minis, like their little spooky town that they have. I cannot wait to see their version of their little spooky town and see what they have this year. I got to get things together, everybody. I kind of want to start setting it up sooner. It's July. Oh my gosh. I have no idea. Oh my God, we got to plan our themes. It just hit me that July is going to fly by and then we're in August. Y'all, it's coming. Halloween is here. Whoa, this just went by so fast. Okay, is anyone else just realizing this? Oh my gosh, we got to get it together. That's it for Halloween decor hunting today, but I don't think that's it for this video. Everyone, it is another day. Halloween decor hunting with me and good old Mr. Skeleton. We are doing a little early morning Halloween perusing, everybody. At HomeGoods. What else is new? It is HomeGoods season right now. It is HomeGoods season. I can't help it. Is anyone else like, I know so many of us are like this when it comes to HomeGoods. When HomeGoods first starts getting out Halloween, we are stocking HomeGoods. That is our jam. And then as I start seeing a lot of the same kind of things and I start seeing Santa come in, then that's when I kind of slow down a little bit. I still go check HomeGoods, just not like every day. We're going to this HomeGoods for now. We'll see how many goods. If we don't see a whole lot of new stuff, we might go to the other one. But if we see a whole lot of new stuff, we might not go to the other one because I might not have time. I'm thinking today I just wanted to do a quick little early drop-in over here at HomeGoods because I really need the boost today, you guys. I need the boost. We're picking up my dad today. So just to speak openly, because I know I've been seeing comments from you guys. You guys are thinking of my family, and thank you guys so much for being here. And just wanted to update you guys on things, but it's been, it's every day is different. That's the truth of it. So we'll see where the spooky one blows us, but I gotta get home today. I really need to edit. I've been doing so much hunting that I have not been editing. I've been doing terrible. This might just be a full-blown HomeGoods extravaganza of a video. There's other places I'm wanting to go. We need to go to Kirkland still. No, not Home Depot. What am I thinking? They're way late. They're not until closer to Labor Day for in-store. But I want to go out to World Market. I want to check on Lowe's. There's a lot of places I want to be checking, but right now I'm kind of distracted by HomeGoods. So I don't know if we're going to go to Kirkland's today, but I really wanted to go in this video. So hopefully I can squeeze it in this video at some point. I don't know how much we're doing today. It's going to be a hard day today. So once again, everybody, we're leaning on the spooky goods to boost our spirits and leaning on the spooky family. You guys have been just incredible. I am just so grateful. I cannot say thank you enough to you guys. And getting me through all of this season, it just is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, I forgot to mention Ikea. So we went to Ikea the other day. This is what I wanted to mention because I was thinking this whole video is going to be HomeGoods, and I was like, wait a minute, we went to Ikea. So we went to Ikea the other day. Big, huge mistake. Okay, let me tell you. Taking 2 toddlers under 3 years old to Ikea on a Saturday. Worst decision ever, but we haven't had a lot of time to go, so that was kind of our only option. We have a lot going on this week. So we went to Ikea. Anyways, they had Halloween at Ikea. I do not know what the visuals look like. I have not watched them back. I tried to get any visual I could, but it was slammed in there. People were trying to look at the Halloween. They were trying to get past. They were walking through all the aisles. It was really difficult to get the visuals, so I tried to get what I could. But they had some really good stuff. They had some cute little, like a cute little ghosty candle. They had some pillows. They had like a lot of different little ghosty things, like light up things, and I don't even know what I was looking at. My brain left my body at Ikea. I was in fight or flight. My kids were so bad in there. I don't even know what happened. It was like we all got possessed by some fluorescent light probably. A couple of things that really stood out to me though, they had this ceramic bat container, and I love the modern look of all of their things. Pumpkins, like little metal stacked pumpkins, and some little ceramic figurines. And they had this jack-o'-lantern light. I don't even know if I got a visual of it. We ended up getting it, so I can always show it later. If I didn't get a visual, I'll show a visual in my kitchen. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe we did that. I don't know what got into us, but and because that's usually our worst nightmare, any sort of people-y place with toddlers. So we saw some Halloween at Ikea. We're rolling up to the HomeGoods. Right, here we are. We're here at HomeGoods, front row. We're going in, everybody. We're here at HomeGoods. We're going in. Mr. Skeleton, sir. I need a sip of my caffeinated beverage, everybody. We saw 3 things I was looking for. Bam, bam, bam. In the same aisle. All 3 of them. There they were in all of their glory. I cannot believe that. Whoa. So they had 2 Joanna Parker pieces I was looking for. One was this candy bowl thing. It was like, it kind of goes with the one I just found the other day. The other one though that I just found was like the one I found the other day was this yellowish orange. This one is like a classic orange, just like orange, and then has a ghost on top. The one I found the other day has a little cat on top, and they're different sizes. Then they also had this canister I was looking for, a little cookie jar looking thing that was a black and orange, has a black and orange base, and then a ghost at the top. It's Joanna Parker. And they had that there. And they only had one of each. nothing, like, and then they had some salt and pepper shakers that we already saw. But they didn't have anything else there. That was like the only Joanna Parker they had. They had one of each, and that was like, I'm like, how are these not picked over? I looked over them to see if they were chipped or anything. Then in the same ceramics aisle that wasn't even supposed to be in there he was, the count that I was looking for. I think I talked about that the other day. If I didn't talk about it, I'm looking for the count that goes with, my boys have Elmo and Cookie Monster and Oscar from last year, the Halloween Sesame Street stuff. And I wanted to get the count for their little collection. Although Lucian still loves the count, but Lachlan is in his Sesame Street era. I feel like Lucian is starting to come out of it. He still likes Sesame Street, but not as much as Lachlan is every day. He wakes up every morning, Elmo, Elmo. I'm like, dude. Anyway, they did have some newer items, but a lot of it was what we kind of saw last week. But they had some new ceramics, some new spooky mugs. They had like a Snoopy spooky mug. They had some vintage looking spooky mugs. Some that we see similar every year, like the bat one and the cat one, where it kind of looks like a Joanna Parker inspired kind of thing. But they have these every year. And they had some plates, some really pretty plates. They had these black plates with these spooky houses on them. It was like a spooky house landscape. They were beautiful. They also had some glass tumblers that we hadn't seen yet. They had these Victorian looking ones. So I saw the spiderweb ones the other day that I talked about. And then they had this floral one that looked like a Victorian floral cup. And then it had bows. I cannot wait to start seeing the casserole dishes coming in, the measuring cups and spoons, and the charcuterie boards, and all like the trays. I cannot wait to see the spooky kitchen stuff coming in, because I always love, like, when it comes to my decor in my home, I'm trying to be selective this year. It's so hard, but I'm trying to be selective because I'm reusing pretty much all my decor every year, and maybe adding a new thing or two to each theme, or I don't know, who knows anymore, but I'm at least trying to stick with the themes. When I'm seeing items, what I'm trying to do this year is I'm thinking, if I do not have an exact place in my mind right now where I would put this, or an exact theme I would use this for ever, then I am not getting it. So although I like to get things that I enjoy and really like, I'm trying really hard this year, because it's like, I really want to go also for quality pieces, all year round decor pieces, those types of things that I'm going to be redoing. So coming up here after the holiday season and our new year kind of cleanup, I really want to redo my bedroom. It's time. So I'm looking for some pieces for that. And I'm sure I can use some of the things I already have. It'll probably be something we do over time, because we do need a new bed. And I feel like we're kind of coming into a time where I feel like the styles are kind of shifting out of farmhouse, out of that kind of style. That wasn't really my style, and we're coming into other things. And I'm seeing more dark decor popping up in more mainstream stores, like on the off seasons. So I'm hoping some furniture starts reflecting that a little bit. So I've been holding out a little bit. I do know there are some custom places that will make these huge gothic beds, but I don't know if I want a big gothic bat bed. I think I just want a classic, traditional style bed. It's maybe not in your face goth, you know what I mean? Something darker, something moodier. But even I wouldn't mind like something Victorian or like intricate looking, but I don't know what I'm looking for. But I'll know it when I see it. That's the point. But anyways, that's besides the point. So anyway, we also saw some new things down the regular Halloween aisle. I'll show what I saw, because my brain is exploding with Halloween right now. I think we saw like a little bat piece, a little jack-o'-lantern piece with a hat. I think we saw some little Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, Bride of Frankenstein, all sorts of, it's just jam-packed with Halloween. We saw some snow globes in here, or water globes. and a really pretty black cat piece that I really liked this piece because it was more of this narrow looking cat, and I love the size of it because especially with decorating, sometimes I want something more like tall and slender, almost like a candlestick but not, and this one wasn't like a candlestick. It wasn't that slender, but it was small enough. It was just the perfect size in my mind. I haven't seen a cat that looked quite like that. But we did see a couple of gothic pieces in here, and they had a really pretty framed piece, like some witchy items is what I'm thinking of. They had this framed wall decor piece that had this witchy situation on the inside, and it lit up, and the frame was beautiful. And then they also, what was the other witchy thing I saw? Oh, it was a cloche with a toad. And what else did we see? Anything else I saw, I'll show here. Oh, I saw some sheets. I saw some Peanuts sheets with Snoopy. There was a baby blue one and a dark blue one, and then a white sheet set with the jack-o'-lanterns and Snoopy on the jack-o'-lantern, near or around the jack-o'-lanterns. But they had a lot of Halloween. It was just a lot of the same kind of stuff we already saw, so I didn't get visuals of repeats, and I'm sure I got a couple of repeats in there, but I didn't want to get like just basically show all repeats. So but I did see what I was looking for today. I was looking for that count, and I was looking for some Joanna Parker pieces today, and that's what I found. Whatever we saw online on TJ Maxx and Marshalls, whatever's been online, I thought that's what we were going to see this year in stores, like a lot of that stuff. But a lot of the stuff online almost looked like it was a lot of stuff from last year, so I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be another repeat year at Homegoods, and that is what it is. But no! They have all sorts of spooky tricks up their sleeves. They have so much stuff that's new this year, and I feel like that's just across the board. Yes, we're seeing a lot of similar things like the ghost and things like that we see every year, but I think that's just because they're popular pieces. People buy them. I think ghosties especially can be mixed into a lot of different themes. You can put jack-o'-lanterns next to them, or you can just do a full-blown ghost theme or whatever. I mean, there's so much you can do with them, so I think ghosts are going to be popular in general. They're cutesy but also spooky, so we are seeing a lot of similar items, but the new stuff that's coming out is so, I'm enjoying it. Just in general, I'm really liking the decor this year.